Hey, everybody, welcome to the RonLine Report. You know this man in front of me, especially if you followed the coverage of the Olympia weekend a few days ago. He was third place 3 years in a row, but this was definitely the best any of us have ever seen this man. George the Bull Peterson. How are you, George?
I'm doing great, Ron. Definitely on cloud nine. Since the Olympia, because like you said, my goal was to bring my best package to date at this Olympia, and I definitely I saw I did that. So I'm just extremely happy about that.
Yeah. I'll start with, what was your reaction? So fourth place, Keon Pearson got called, and then Bob Ciccarello, please bring that third place medallion and a check for $5,000 too. So you're just hoping, not me. Don't say me. Don't say me. That
Yeah,
would have been, yeah.
yeah. Like I was standing there, and the anticipation was going on, and I was when he announced me third place, I was a bit surprised.
Mm.
Not gonna lie about that because I thought it was going to be a top two between me and Breon. That's the way a lot of people would tell me they saw it. When I was looking at the coverage of the prejudging and everything,
Yeah.
that's the way it was looking. So I was definitely surprised. Um, but I didn't. There was no point where I really got depressed or sad. I was just like, okay, well, third place again, 3 years in a row. All right. I was wondering, okay, well, it was part. I started thinking, oh, well, what do I have to do
Yeah.
to get higher than this? Because I know I outdid all my previous showings. I definitely outdid my showing at the Arnold. And by the looks of prejudging, it looked like it was me and Breon, in the top two. That's the way it looked
I
as
mean,
far as
that's what a lot of people were saying that. A lot of people thought it was between you and Breon.
right.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
like I said, I didn't get depressed. I was just a bit surprised, and took it in stride. Uh, the reason why I didn't get depressed is because I was just very, very happy with what I brought to that stage, and people, so many people reached out to me, telling me that they had me as the winner. And when
Yeah.
you hear stuff like that, that just helps, get you through and everything like that, because your supporters, they're the ones that, they light that fire in you. They get you going sometimes, So I appreciated all of them sticking by me and feeling like that I was the guy they had, first place, it was
Yeah.
great.
So yeah, I saw the Giles interview. I didn't get to do the interview with you, but you said you felt you were able to finally bring your best package. And I thought your condition is always spectacular. I've never seen you like 1% off. I don't think ever. I
Mhm.
can. You're one of those few guys you can always count on. I never have to. Oh, is George going to be in shape? No, George is going to be in shape. That's never
Right,
an issue.
right,
Um, but you seem like you had more pop, more fullness to you. Was
right.
it? Were you able to? Was it 10 pounds you were able to add from the weigh in to the time you hit the stage, something like that?
Yeah, I weighed in because my cutoff was 192. I ended up weighing in at 191.5. And then by the time I hit the stage, I was 198. So
Mm,
that was just for the Arnold, I was 197 when I hit the stage. So it was just a 1 pound difference. But you see, there was a dramatic,
yeah,
change in the look. And it's basically I just and it wasn't because I got filled up, with a bunch of food. It was basically just rehydrating my body. Also using sodium accordingly,
yeah.
get my muscles to pop again. And the fact that we waited on Thursday and wasn't on stage till Saturday gave us enough time to peak right.
Yeah.
So that's how we were able to do that.
Now, I don't want to get into the 212 thing yet, but I have to ask you this because so that was you at 198.
Right,
You didn't like the way you looked years ago as a heavyweight when you
right,
were competing as an amateur,
right,
but do you feel confident? I suspect, I'm not trying to talk you out of Classic. You're doing great. You won the
right,
damn Arnold, okay? So,
right,
third in the world 3 years in a row. So clearly, this is a great division for you.
right.
But I mean, can you and your coach Justin picture what you would look like at 212 with that condition?
Yeah. Me and Justin were talking about it that same night, and we're going to talk about it even more, later this week. Justin feels like I would be unbelievable with
Mm,
another 10 pounds of muscle in the right places, with that kind of condition, and to be quite honest, I'm not opposed to doing it. I'm not opposed to doing it.
yeah,
Like my story is. I retired from the sport because of my negative experience as a heavyweight bodybuilder,
Yeah.
and then I didn't have any desire to want to compete again. The Classic Physique division came out. Even when Classic Physique came out, I still didn't say, "Oh, I want to try this right away." I just ended up going over Justin's house with a friend to hang out,
Yeah.
and then and we just started talking, and I was like, well, look, Justin, I don't want to do anything. I mean, if I do anything, maybe I'll give the classic a try. If anything, it was just kind of just I was just talking,
Yeah.
and then it ended up actually happening, and then boom, we won nationals, now I'm pro, top 3 in the world. So it was it's kind of things that just happened. So it's not like I said to myself, I never want to do bodybuilding again. I mean, I just fell into the classic division, and then things worked out. But I mean, when it's time to, if it comes a time where I'm say, I guess outgrow the classic division, where really want my body to excel to its peak level, then yeah, I might have to actually go to 212. I'm realistic about it. If I really do want to get better, then 212 will be the next step.
Because I mean, like Henri Pierre, I know who he didn't fare too well at the Olympia, but he jumped into that the Spain show. I think it was. Was it Portugal or Spain? It was Spain,
I
right?
think, I think it was Portugal. I think it was Portugal, right?
Portugal. Yeah, Portugal.
I
So
know
he
what you're
jumped.
talking about though.
He jumped into the open at like 20 pounds over the classic limit. He
Hmm.
looked really good. He looked
That's
better
very
there than I think it was a mistake because then trying to come back down
yeah,
in time for the Olympia is probably what screwed him. But
yeah.
maybe there's like a an open show or a 212 show right after your next classic show. That why not just jump in and see what how it goes. I think you'd be, you. I'm not saying you're not a classic. I don't think anybody can definitively say this is classic and that's not a classic physique. We have so many looks. Chris has his own look. You have your own look. Breon has his own look. You can go on down the line. There's
Right,
like 35 guys, and I'd say you could probably come up with, if you try to put them into classifications, I don't know, like a dozen different looks.
right.
So, but I mean, I just think you'd be a breath of fresh air in the 212 because that waist. Did your waist actually get smaller, or did you just look fuller everywhere else? I'm trying to figure that out.
No, I believe I just got fuller everywhere else. I mean, my waist is just I've always had a small waist. It's just the thing is like I have a short torso, so so in some so if you look at me at certain angles, like if I'm not full in the legs and whatnot, and it'll appear like I have a big waist, but I really don't. But if I have nice full legs, then you'll see that I actually do have a small waist. It's just that I have a short torso. That's the only thing. But yeah, I mean, you know what? Like I said, I'm gonna because it's still fresh. I'm still fresh off the Olympia stage. I want to take some time to process everything.
Right.
But I wouldn't. I mean, I'm not opposed to um, giving the 212 a try if it's the right move to make. I mean, I would like to actually get some feedback. I guess from some of the judges just to see what they feel I need to do. I mean, because some people are feeling like, oh, I'm not placing higher because I'm not the classic look that they're looking for. I mean, that's what people are saying. I don't know how true that is. I
Mm.
mean, because when I think about it logically, I mean, if I wasn't a classic look,
Right.
then what? Then why even be top 3?
I mean, if you
Why?
didn't have a classic look, you would not have got this far. You wouldn't.
Right, exactly.
There's no way.
I mean, and if it's an issue of, I mean, if it's an issue of like more, because this is what I've been actually asking myself actually for the last couple of days. Like, all right, if you look back at the guys from back in the day, like you say Barry DeMay, that's classic physique, right?
Yeah, absolutely,
Lee Labrada, is that a classic physique?
absolutely. Bob
So,
Paris.
so who's between those two? Who would you say is more classic? I don't know. I mean, and if you say Barry DeMay is more classic, or you say Lee Labrada is more classic, why?
Mm,
I don't know.
yeah. And,
Like,
and Barry and Lee had very different looks if you really put them
right,
next to each other.
right. So what
One's
would
5'5" and the other one was like 6'1" for
right,
starters.
right. So I mean, classic is classic. I mean, what would be an argument for one being more classic than the other? So if they compete against each other, what would you have to judge on? You just have to judge on just regular bodybuilding, like who has the most muscle with the right conditioning and
Yeah.
with the same right shape. They both have great shape, so that's not an issue. I mean, so whoever I guess has the most muscle and best condition, you just have to judge it accordingly. That's the way I see it. I think a lot of the young kids and stuff like that. I think they get a little bit too caught up in the word classic. I mean, look, classic is classic. Breon has a classic look. Bumstead has a classic look. I have a classic look. We have different classic looks.
Yeah.
So if we come all together and we compete, it's just at the end of the day, it's who's peaked the right way, who has the least amount of flaws. That's it. That's what it comes
Yeah.
down to. I would think.
I mean, I was talking to Sean Ray yesterday. I got his breakdown of the show, and I asked him, what does George need to do to move up? He's like, nothing. He looked great, this and that. He said, and then I got into the whole contest. What about contest being won from the back? Because Chris Bumstead said looks phenomenal. Not taking a thing away from that guy. He looks
Mhm.
amazing.
Right.
But from the back, if you're just looking at back shots of you, Breon, and Chris,
Mhm.
his back is pretty shallow. It needs
Right.
to be a lot thicker.
Right.
But Sean said, you know what? You're talking like a bodybuilding judge, and this is not classic. I think is he said it's finally you're starting to see that there is a different criteria.
Mhm.
And if you're looking at it the way a bodybuilding show is judged, you're not going to understand the outcome
Right.
because there is a different criteria. And
Right.
I'm
Right.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what the criteria is because
Right.
if you're going just for the prettiest look, I mean that's one thing. But like, what if that person's a little bit off in condition and the other guy? I mean, there's so many factors to weigh in. I would be at a loss
Right.
trying to judge you guys if I'd be confused because I would be judging it more like a bodybuilding show.
Right, right. I mean, and that's fine. I mean, it's still a very very new division.
Yeah,
So you have to give so everybody needs time to figure it out, and I can understand the judges wanting to get it right so they can really judge it accordingly. And if it's a case of me because this is the thing, you want to be able to separate the divisions. Like you should like if you see a bikini champion like Angelica Teixeira,
yeah,
she shouldn't look like she could win a women's physique show.
right,
If you take a women's physique champion like Shanique Grant, she shouldn't look like she could win a female bodybuilding show.
right.
There has to be like a division. That's why they're divisions.
Yeah,
So if you got me, and I'm probably the guy who has the most muscle, I guess, in the classic physique division.
I would say so.
And if it's felt like I look like I can do well in a 212 division, and let's say I was awarded the Classic Physique Olympia champion, but I also look like I could do well in a 212 show. If it's a case where I'm blurring the lines, I can understand that. I mean, I can accept that, and if that's the case, then I have no problem with, okay, if you feel like I'll be better in 212, then I'll make the move, But that's why I want to first get some feedback before I make any decisions.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at the money here. I know it's not about the money, but okay. So third place, you got 5,000.
Hmm.
Men's physique got 8,000. The board shorts.
Right,
Mr. Olympia, obviously, we know they're going to make the most money, 100,000.
right,
But even 212, third place got 10,000. And Kamal, the winner, Kamal, was not a massive man at all.
right, right, right,
In clothes, no offense, Kamal. In clothes, he's not that impressive. He's got tremendous, beautiful shapes. The muscle, he's got a lot of the same strengths you do as far as the muscle maturity, the detail, all these
right,
crazy splits and striations that Derek just couldn't match because he doesn't have that many years of training.
right, right, right.
Um, I mean, I could see you doing very well. That's all I'm saying. And
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You
but
know, I'm,
you're one of those few. You're one of those you could do very well if you stay in classic. You could
mhm.
do very well in 212, and you walk that line. You really do fit into both categories.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely appreciate that. It means a lot. I take that as a compliment for sure. But I'm open minded. I'm not a closed minded guy. So I'm gonna just take a little time, and if I decide to make that move, I will be. Yeah, I'll be announcing it. And we'll talk about it some more and everything like that. But as of right now, I'm gonna say that I'm sticking with classic physique.
All right, let's talk about more positive stuff, more upbeat stuff. Your posing was a lot better. Your presentation overall,
You like
not
that?
that it was bad, but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
definitely came up a level. Did you
Thank you.
work very hard since the Arnold on that?
Yes, for sure, for sure. Definitely, we worked on it because I knew that coming back into the Olympia, you're going to be going against great poses like Breon and everything like that. So I wanted to make sure that I had everything on point, not just my physique, but the way I present it. Because we all know that you could have a great physique, but if you can't present it right, then it's not going to mean a thing.
Yeah.
So I took extra time to pose. Like when I would get home from work, even though it's like 3 a.m. in the morning. I do a
Mm.
quick posing session,
Oh wow.
before bed, sweating bullets, and yeah. So I really put a lot of emphasis in my posing. And much more emphasis than I ever did before, prepping for a show. And that may actually have something to do with the way my body looked, as far as like detail and the conditioning that I brought this time around, because we all know that the more you pose, the more you're squeezing in that extra detail. A lot of people don't know, like, when you're getting the closer you get to the show, the more you pose, you're bringing out that extra detail that weights can't do, that just the diet can't do. You're really squeezing into those muscles. So we put a lot of emphasis on that, especially the last couple of days before actually hitting the stage. Like, when it came down to making weight, we used a lot of posing to come down in weight. Like, I have a few rounds of posing. I check my weight. My weight would come down like 2 pounds. And then we wait like a few hours later, do another posing session. It will come down another pound. Like, we were posing that weight.
Did you go? I thought I heard you tell Giles you went in some hot garage or something to
Yeah,
pose.
yeah.
Where was that?
There was the Airbnb that we were staying at out there in Vegas. It had this garage, and the first time we got in the Airbnb, and we was just taking a tour around the place. We went in the garage, and as soon as you walk in the garage, you feel the heat. It feels like you walked into a damn inferno room. So and I was like, yo, Justin, this would probably be a good place to pose. I mean, like, the heat and everything like that. He's like, hell yeah, well, we'll do that. And that's what we were doing. And you know what? And you're gonna see a lot of that footage on one of the upcoming episodes I have, just to let everybody know out there. I have a YouTube series out. It's called The Bull, The Best Is Yet to Come. It's on my YouTube channel, which is just my name, George Peterson. And it's a series that I started to lead up to the Olympia, so it was like a road to the Olympia type of series. But we decided actually to keep it going. So it's not going to just stop at the Olympia. We're going to keep things going. And the next episode coming out is going to include some of that footage of me posing in that garage. And you're going to see, like, how,
I gotta see this.
Yeah, it's good.
That sounds brutal. I mean, did you? Because I imagine you weren't taking in much fluids at that time, right?
No, it wasn't. It was very brutal. But I told Justin, like, he would always ask me, "You okay? You okay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm fine." And I said to him, I had to turn myself almost into a machine. Like, a machine doesn't need water. A machine, a machine is just programmed to do what it has to do. And I had to, flick a switch in my mind and turn myself into that machine. And look, I don't need any water. Let's just pose.
A mechanical bull.
There you go, a mechanical bull. That's right. That's right. So I was good, and we just grinded through, and we made that weight, and I'm very happy with what we did.
So what'd you weigh when you got into Vegas earlier in the week?
When we got into just the weird thing, like, so the morning of the flight, when I woke up here, here in New York before going to the airport, I was 199.
Okay.
Got on the flight, and we landed, and when we landed, I was 206.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Holy moly.
Oh yeah, that flight must have had my body holding a bunch of water.
Wow.
And yeah. So that was a little nerve wracking. So and with me, whenever I start to get nervous, like, I kind of feed off of Justin to help calm me down. Like, so if he's not nervous, then I'm like, okay, as long as Justin's not nervous, then I won't be nervous. So I'm like, Justin, we still good here? We good? He's like, yeah, don't worry, just keep drinking, so your body will flush. You keep drinking. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna do that, But in the back of my mind, I'm still like a little nervous. Damn, man, 206. I was just 199 this morning, So and then I woke up the next morning. I was 203, came down 3 pounds. So then that's when we actually started, just posing my butt off, and then we got down a few pounds, and then the last, I think the day right before the weigh-in. Just to get down a little bit closer, I did do a quick sauna session. It was just like 30 minutes in the sauna, and that just got me down to that got me down to 193.
Okay.
And then the rest was easy. I just didn't drink, slept, woke up at 192 even, and then by the time I actually weighed in, I was 191.5.
Sounds like the garage was pretty much a natural sauna, though.
It was,
because there was no air conditioning in there, right?
No, not at all. It was a natural sauna. As soon as we go in there, and I just go through one round of posing, hitting each mandatory pose, I'd be sweating bullets, and then we would go through like almost 10 rounds, and then it'd just be like drenched, So it really helps more than anything.
Yeah, but I bet you were so relieved after you weighed in just to be able to take in some water again and fill out.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? It's so funny. Like a big part of the Classic Physique competition for me feels like it's just the process of making weight. Like
Yeah.
it's like once you make weight, it's almost like you feel like, okay, that's like 50% of the competition. Now the other 50% is just going on stage now, like filling your body out, just going on stage and presenting what you got. Which is, I'm not nervous about that. But the only thing that makes me nervous, about prepping for the Classic Physique shows is just making the weight, because the more muscle you put on, the harder it is to make the weight. And at the same time, when you come down in that weight, you want to keep as much muscle as possible.
See, that
So
must be an issue because you seem like you put on muscle. I don't want to say easily. I don't think anyone puts it on easily, but
mm,
you could put on more muscle if you
yeah,
wanted to.
right,
It seems to me like if I said, George, you can weigh whatever you it does, we're not going to weigh you anymore.
yeah, yeah,
Just come in ripped and you could probably come in 210, 215, no problem at all.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could be ripped to the bone, ready for a show easily. Like but 205, 210. Yeah, between 205, 210. You know,
What's that waist? Like a 20, 21 inch? No, probably like a 28 or 29 inches. It looks tiny.
I like, so yeah, it might be like 29 inches. Yeah, like especially like when I really get down 29. Yeah.
Yeah, you were talking to Giles, and I find Giles is a good interviewer because he does his research sometimes a little better than me. I
Mm.
did not know that, like other people who have been given back to the sport, like you mentioned Jay Cutler, you mentioned Lee Haney. You've also been doing things where you go to schools and you talk to kids. And how did you get into all that? Was that just something you've always wanted to do?
Well, yeah, I definitely always wanted to do stuff like that because, my biggest thing is always giving back. Like I wanted to. It's easy, anybody could, be a champion of the sport, but when it comes to, being a real like ambassador for a sport, it's all about, like how you give back and everything, what you do off the stage or off the field, whatever sport you're in. That's what really is going to count. That's what's going to really resonate with people. So somebody reached out to me, and they were having a career day at their school that they work at, and they wanted to invite me to come there, and I said, oh sure, I'll definitely do that.
Mm.
So I went, and I was talking to the kids, and the kids, they were all enamored by, like I showed them the Arnold Classic trophy, the Olympia medals, and showed them the muscle. I brought the muscle development
Ah,
magazine that was on the cover. And they was just enamored by it, and I was encouraging them to, really think about, like their career choices, to start now, think about what things they're naturally interested in, and follow through with their passions, and never give up. And yeah, but that was definitely it was definitely fulfilling to me when I did that, and after I did that, somebody else reached out to me and wanted me to come to their school and do the same thing. So yeah. So anytime somebody wants me to do something like that and I can, I'll definitely do that.
wow. So this you mostly the Long Island area? Is that where you are?
Well, no, I'm in Queens. I
Or
live
in
in
Queens?
Queens. I just train out in Long Island and also work in Long Island. But the school I went to was in Brooklyn. Brooklyn, New
Okay.
York. Yeah, yeah. Because we know, just like the song says, the kids are our future, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
So so it's important that we
Whitney Houston.
help, huh?
That was Whitney Houston.
There you go. That's Whitney right there. She wasn't lying with that. And it's important that we help steer them in the right direction, because they are the ones. They're the next ones up.
Yeah. You were another thing is you asked Giles, and I think this is true. Your cover of MD, I can't think. I've been reading magazines for over 30 years. I've never seen a rear double bicep as a cover shot.
Yeah,
So I'm
right.
pretty sure, unless someone wants to try to correct me in the comments,
Yeah,
and they're going to have to be pretty old if they're doing it. I'm guessing because
yeah.
maybe back in like the 50s or the 60s or something. But since I've started reading bodybuilding magazines in 1987, I've never seen that. So as far as I know, you are the only person who has ever had a rear double bicep shot as the
Hey,
back of the.
if that's the case, that is so cool.
Okay, we did have Ronnie doing it was a full body stage shot,
Right.
but that was mainly showing the crazy back and the glutes and everything.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
just the rear double, no, I think you still have it.
So
It's a good thing
okay.
I remember the Ronnie thing because I'm sure
Yeah,
someone's
yeah.
going to remind me. Yeah, Ronnie did it. Okay,
Uh,
that was a stage shot, and that was a full body, and it was more looking at his striated glutes.
That's super
Uh,
cool. I actually did another shoot for you guys out in Vegas before I left. So
Hector or
Hector,
Jason?
Hector.
Hector Mendoza. Shout out to Hector, my man.
Shout out to Hector Mendoza. He's the man.
He's a cool
And
dude.
also a big shout out to Steve Blackman. I appreciate Steve texted me. I'm wanting to do to set up the shoot and everything. So I definitely want to give a big shout out to Steve Bleckman. Thanks, Steve.
Cool. Now, thing you've talked about it before, but I think this is common knowledge. Classic is a division where you don't have anyone really dominant. Breon was a great champion, but I never thought nobody's ever beating Breon. It's kind of I don't want to say it's an open show like the Olympia was this year, but you're capable of winning the Olympia title. Bumstead could win again. Breon could come back and win again. I think Steve Laureus has a physique capable of winning the Olympia. I think
Right.
if you really look into it, you could probably name anywhere between 5 and 8 guys who are capable of winning that title,
Right.
which I think it makes it more exciting. I'd like to see who brings it that day, and it's a fight rather than that's why people like to see Olympia titles change hands. It's like we're
Yes.
seeing now because it gets boring watching the same person win. Even if
Right.
you love that athlete and
Right.
you're support a fan of them, like I was a Dorian fan, I was a Lee Haney fan, I was a Ronnie fan, but every year I was like, oh man,
Right.
nobody else had a chance.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
do you think do you agree with me? You think it makes it more exciting for the division that you do have a few guys that are fully capable of winning that title at any given moment?
Yeah, I absolutely, it definitely makes it very exciting. I think that's the reason why the class physique has gotten so popular and so exciting because like you said, there's so many guys in the division that could take it on any day. Like especially if someone who was in the top spot comes in off, well, that just like it's almost like there's no room for error.
Mm,
You gotta be on point. You gotta if me, Breon, and Bumstead didn't come better this year,
mm,
any one of us could have dropped down. Even though Breon dropped down to one spot, but I'm saying like as far as the top three, any one of us could have came out of that top three spot and been replaced by a Keon or been replaced by that new Asian kid.
Chen Kang, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like it could have easily been switched around if any one of us would have been lax and came in off. So yeah, so it definitely. But you know what? As far as that goes, that has to do with the competitors. Like that's up to the competitors. You have to stay hungry. Like, every one of us, you got to stay hungry. You got to train your butt off. You can't become complacent and you can't get to the point where you feel like, oh, I'm not going to have a chance to win this. I'm just going to, coast in and whatever I get, I get. Hopefully, I get in the top 5 or something. Top. You have to go in there with the intentions to win, to keep that competitiveness going. Because if the guys start, getting complacent, then it's gonna start to end up being a case where the top guy just keeps winning and winning and winning. You got to stay. All the guys trying to come up have to stay hungry. That's the key.
I think it helps in your division that because it's so new. We have this Chen Kang. I think he won Toronto. I'm pretty sure he's the same guy I saw win in Toronto. But
I
I'll
think,
tell you, that was only in June. Before that, I had never heard that name in my life. I
I mean,
swear. Like who the
yeah,
Chen Kang? Who the hell's that? And then he takes
yeah,
fifth in the Olympia.
right,
So you guys have to be more on your toes, I think, than any other division because there's constantly new awesome people showing up
yeah,
that if they all want to be where you are. They all want to be up top and they want to knock you off first place, second place, third place.
right.
So,
Of course.
that's got to be fuel for the fire.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. Fuel for the fire, and that's why it doesn't matter how many times like I place third. Like you're never gonna hear me say like as long as I'm competing, you're never gonna hear me say, oh, I don't think I could beat Rion, or I don't think I could beat Bumstead. I know I can beat Rion. I mean, I know I can beat Bumstead. I know it for a fact. And I'm gonna keep going, until I do, and as far as physique wise, like I remember when we first started to get ready backstage at this Olympia,
Mm.
and like I'm sure a lot of us go through this. Like when everybody's getting undressed and starting to pump up, you're looking around, and you're thinking to yourself, oh man, this guy probably looks better than me. This guy probably looks better than me. Uh, so a little bit of that was kind of goes through my head, which it always does. I mean, I don't know why, it just kind of does. But then I remember I was one of the mirrors back there, and I looked in the mirror, and I just I hit a shot. And when I hit that shot, I saw everything popping, everything. And when I saw that, and then I looked around again, I said to myself, "I'm the best guy here."
Mm.
And when I knew that,
Yeah.
I was ready to go. I just said, I'm on. And I took that attitude with me out on stage, and people could say what they want about me not being classic. I know that I was the best bodybuilder on that stage,
Yeah.
so
Did you see the score sheets at all?
I think I did. I mean, it was a 1 point decision between Bumstead and Chris.
Mm.
I had 15, so I guess that means what, 5 judges said I was third, I guess.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah,
just wondering because I thought you might have gotten a couple second place votes. I'm just the way the judging went and the call outs. They
yeah,
had you in the middle a couple times, and I know that doesn't always mean, but it seemed like the judges were really looking hard at you for second at a couple points during that.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's why I mean, normally I don't really go for that much feedback, because I just look at it myself and have Justin look at it with me, and we just analyze it and see what we need to do to improve my physique, and we just do it. This time I think I will get a little feedback to see, because I mean, like I said, I know I was the best bodybuilder on that stage, and if that's the problem, then I would like to know. Like, if I'm too bodybuilderish,
Yeah.
I would just like to know. If they say no, that's not the case, okay, then I'm going to stay on course. But I mean, like, but I would like to know if that's the case.
I mean, I'm sure you're as critical as anyone else after a show. You study the pictures, and when you look at the pictures from the show, is there anything that you really say, that needs to be better next time? Because condition, obviously, I don't think it's not like you were holding water in any areas or any areas weren't detailed.
Mm,
Geez, the waist is tiny, the shoulders are wide,
mm.
lats are flat. What would you improve on if you really had to be super critical of yourself looking at the pictures?
I mean, if I had to be super critical, I could still um, make some more improvements in my arms, from at least from the front double
Okay.
standpoint. Because that's one of Breon's strengths. He has great biceps from the front,
Yeah.
from the front angle. Um, other than that, I mean, not much. I mean, and this
Yeah.
is this is the best that my legs have looked on stage. They were really popping. Um, so I mean, yeah, I mean, not much else.
Yeah. I mean, Bumstead's arms, his biceps in particular, they're not a strong point at all. I mean,
Right.
it's an overall, because I've been having this argument with people both ways actually. I've been arguing for and against it, trying to see what makes the most sense. Because it's a back shot. If it's contest one from the back, I look at all the mandatories that you guys do. Well, you guys don't have many mandatories. You only have 5 shots,
Yeah, five. So
five shots.
front double, side chest, back double, abs, thigh, classic pose of choice.
Yeah, and unless you're hitting a back shot in your classic pose,
I
it's
am.
only one back shot.
Right,
So
right,
that's where it becomes more, I'd say, less like bodybuilding, because bodybuilding is more comprehensive. They're looking at more angles and more body parts, I think.
right,
Whereas, as far as I can tell, classic looks more at overall shape, structure. They're looking at condition too, but it
right,
seems like the aesthetics and the flow play a big role, or a larger role. Because I
right,
mean, that's why they call it classic physique, I guess.
right. I
Um,
mean, yeah. So I mean, if it's about a look, then I mean that's fine. I mean, that's fine if that's what the criteria is. Just as long as we all know that's what it is.
yeah. Now, everybody got a little boost in money this year.
Mm.
Still, Classic was paid the least out of everybody, and I'm scratching my head over that. I can't imagine men's physique is more popular than classic physique. Am I wrong? I
I
don't
think.
know. Maybe I'm wrong. It's not
I
a
mean,
knock on those guys. It's just I don't know who most of them are.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, as far as like, I don't know. Like, I guess it depends on the demographic, or the who the audience. I mean, when it comes to like, I guess, like, like the magazine covers, I guess you would probably want a men's physique guy over anybody else. Like, because for a nice muscle and fitness cover, they look good.
Sure.
Um, when it comes to actually competing and everything like that, the excitement, I think, is definitely more so in classic, because we're up there, we're hitting shots, we're battling it out. The men's physique, I mean, they're just standing there, so it's kind of
It's
like,
it's it's I can tell you, it's not exciting to watch. I know they work hard. I know they have development and everything. It's just because they don't pose. They just turn quarter turn, quarter turn.
right,
They don't even do all the quarter turns. It's a front shot. They stand to the front and then they turn around. That's it.
right.
So,
So I mean, that probably has something to do with the reason why it's not as exciting as classic. But don't get me wrong, I definitely take my hat off to the men's physique guys. I mean, I know those guys work hard, and those guys are getting jacked by the hour, you know.
Getting
And
bigger
so,
every year.
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So those guys are good.
So what's up? No post Olympia shows for you? You shutting it down and going into off season? What's going on?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna shut it down, go into off season. I'll give my body a rest a little bit, and then pick it back up in 2020.
Okay.
Because I feel like I've done enough. I mean, I did the Arnold, and then I did this Olympia, and I went super hard for this Olympia. So I just like to give myself a little rest, and then go back to the drawing board and get ready for 2020.
So would you think about defending your Arnold title again, or would that give you not enough time to make improvements or whatever? Because you'd have to start prepping again in December.
I know, yeah, I know. Um, I thought about possibly the Arnold. Uh, I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't feel like I need a whole bunch of time. I mean, but I think the Arnold is a possibility. Other than that, I'm not really sure. I still have to think about what I want to do. You
You
know?
know, I always bother you guys like 2 days after show. What's next? What's next? And you
Yeah.
haven't even had time to freaking recover from last weekend. I know. But but it's the fans always want to know because they follow you and they want to see you compete all the damn time.
I understand. I understand. But it's also important that you don't run yourself down because you also want to make sure that you're healthy too.
Right. Well, you know what? The good thing I think today, the fans aren't as greedy to have people compete because they have access to you. They're going to see you. You got your YouTube channel, George Peterson. You're putting up content all the time. You got your Instagram,
Yep,
which is George P underscore DeBull.
that's
So
right.
every day they can see pictures and videos. It's not like the old days where between shows, it's like you guys didn't exist.
Right,
Uh,
right,
We didn't see anybody until the shows. You might see a little picture in a magazine from an expo, but it was rare. Whereas
right.
now, it's almost like 24-hour access to you guys, which the fans now, they're so spoiled and they don't even know it. They have no idea what it was like back. We used to have to wait 6 weeks to see pictures from the Olympia.
Yeah.
6 weeks. They're like,
Right,
what? Yeah, six to 8 weeks before we saw the pictures of Lee Haney winning or Dorian winning because there was no internet. You
right.
guys now it's streaming and they complain, the stream had a glitch in it
It's
at
I know
1 minute. You guys suck.
everything
Oh,
is so
whatever.
instant now. Everything is so right now.
These kids today. Okay, so taking some time, collecting yourself, recovering,
Right.
resetting, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yep.
So, when you decide to compete again, you'll let everybody know, I'm sure, on your
For sure.
social media, your YouTube.
For sure.
Uh,
And
so
we
I want
and
to give you the
we can
chance to
help.
thank Redcom One, Justin. Give me the whole list of people who were on Team George Peterson for the Olympia.
Oh yeah, 100%. Definitely big, huge thank you to my coach Justin Miller. I love that guy, Justin Miller, man. Like everything that's happened, all the accomplishments, I owe a lot to Justin. So I appreciate him greatly. Big thank you to him. Definitely big thank you to my sponsor, Redcon One. I'm so happy to be part of the Redcon One family. Aaron Singerman, they've been so supportive and been great to me. So I really appreciate it. And we got these cool Redcon One the Bull T-shirts.
Where can
You
those
know,
be purchased?
well, we had these actually at the Olympia Expo,
Yeah, yeah.
and then once the Olympia Expo was done, we had them up on the Redcon One site, but then they sold out like crazy.
Oh
So
boy.
now we have to just see if we can get some more made up.
Okay.
But I appreciate everybody who copped them one. So yeah, and also my sponsor, my Protan sponsor, they definitely hooked me up. They gave me such a great polished look for the stage. So big shout out to Team Protan. Appreciate you guys. Man, my actual blood family, my mother, my sister, my niece Kiara, my nephew, and my nephews Dwayne and Ronnie. I appreciate all of you because they're my rock. They're the one. They're my foundation. If there's ever anything that or if I ever get depressed or anything about anything, they're the ones who I go to help bring me back up. So I appreciate them so much.
What's that alarm? It's time to eat. What's going on?
Those are my potatoes.
All right, man. Well, I'm going to let you get your potatoes.
All right.
Congratulations. You look phenomenal. That was the best I've ever seen you.
Thank you.
It's no reflection. You definitely improved. The
Thank
fact that you placed the same does not reflect that.
thank
And
you.
a lot of people did think you were good enough to win.
That's right.
Judges do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
There's you guys are the very best in the world. You, Breon, and Chris, you're all fantastic, incredible athletes. As people all around the world are inspired by you guys, and there's kids right now picking up weights because of you and Chris and Breon. I guarantee it.
I definitely appreciate that, and I appreciate those words mean a lot, Ron. Thank you. I want to thank Giles. Giles is super cool. I can't wait to talk to him soon. And one thing I want to also say, and I want to impart this to all the young guys who are competing or trying to compete. Look, even if you don't actually get the prize, if you don't actually get the trophy, the first place trophy or the medal, as long as you look like that guy, then you should be happy. So even though I wasn't awarded Classic Physique Olympia, I know I looked like Classic Physique Olympia. So I'm very happy with what we did.
Yeah, I mean, I guarantee you show those pictures to anybody that didn't follow the actual show, and they say that guy won, right? This is the winner, right? Yeah. How could anybody beaten that? So it's like I said, when you get to the very top 3 best classic physiques on planet Earth,
Yeah.
we have 7 billion people on this planet. Maybe it's 8 billion now. I mean, come on, that's amazing.
Hey, has there ever been in any other division? Has there ever been the same guys like 3 years in a row like that?
Never.
Never.
No.
That's crazy. I mean,
I'm sure it's frustrating, but it is pretty unique.
But you know what? That's very cool. Like, I mean, despite of anything, like it's very cool to know, like, that the 3 of us have been able to do that.
Well, considering, like I said, every year there's been so many new guys that are really, really good.
Right.
The fact that the same 3 guys have been able to stay up top in spite of amazing new talent influx all the time, that tells you how you guys have had to improve. Because if you didn't improve, like I said, those guys will jump right in there.
Right ahead. Yep.
See ya, George. You're old news.
Exactly.
See ya, Breon.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you guys are a great example. It's not as easy to fight off all those challengers.
Nope.
So
thanks, Ron. Appreciate it, man.
All right, let's get those potatoes, George. Everybody, please go to his YouTube channel, George Peterson. Go to his Instagram, GeorgeP_DeBull. For the RonLine Report, it's been Ron Harris, George Peterson. Thanks for watching. Thanks, George.